Too much love. I'm not comfortable receiving love. What's up, guys? How we doing? All right. A lot has happened since the last time I saw a lot of you. I got married. Thank you. I got married like 3 months before the pandemic. So when I looked my wife in the eyes on our wedding day, and I promised her that I would love her forever, I didn't realize she was gonna like be there the whole time. I thought we would have like some moments apart from each other, but just 2 years inside the same room like cellmates. That's how I know I married the right person, because 2 years, no one got stabbed in the showers. We did good. We had a pretty good wedding, pretty nice. I know it was only pretty nice because 2 weeks before we got married, our best friends got married, and we went to their wedding, and their wedding was really nice. Really nice. At their wedding, they had a cigar roller who sat in the corner of the room and would roll you a cigar by hand and then ask you what your favorite booze was, and then he would dip it in it and hand you a cigar to smoke. At our wedding, my cousin threw up all over the floor. And he threw up right in the area where our wedding cake was being kept. So our caterers couldn't get our cake, so they just grabbed another wedding's wedding cake and brought it up to our wedding. And the couple on top were both black. And I just rolled with it. Because what am I supposed to do? What the hell are those black people doing on my cake? Like, I'm not gonna say that. No, I was like, yeah, that's a Black History cake. That's just who we are. We're woke. That's right. That's Dr. King and Rosa Parks sitting up there. That's right. No, we had a nice wedding. It's hard. Weddings are tough because the wedding industry preys on young couples who are afraid to be judged at their shitty wedding. So much so that they often have like a cheap option that you can pick, but the option is so shitty that you're forced to spend more money to get option 2. Like when we were meeting with our wedding planner, we were sitting there, we were talking about flowers. We were like flower arrangements on all the tables at the wedding. So I was like, this is getting really expensive. I was like, what's the cheapest option? And she goes, oh, the cheapest option? We'll just put dead birds on all the tables. Would you like that? It's like, no, we'll take the next option. What's that? And they're like, the next option are beautiful orchids. They're so beautiful. They're also so expensive, but they're so beautiful. It's worth it. Because when your single friends see those flowers, they're going to want to kill themselves because they'll know they'll never have what you have. And that's the type of psychology that works with wedding people, because I think like 60% of weddings are just people getting married to like make their friends jealous. We've all been to one of those weddings, I know we have, where you're sitting there and you're watching this beautiful bride walk down the aisle. And what she should be thinking as she walks down the aisle is, oh my God, look at Brad. I can't wait to marry Brad. He's so cool and handsome. But instead she's like, I look amazing in this dress. Fuck you, Monica. You'll never look like this. We tried to save money at our wedding. So one of the things that we did is we cut out the wedding DJ. Because personally, like, every wedding DJ I've ever met has like a visible snake tattoo. And that really was clashing with our fall theme. So I was like, I don't want a wedding DJ. And also every wedding DJ, your wedding is their worst case scenario. No one got into DJing to DJ your wedding. They want to be at clubs doing ecstasy and shit. Like, they don't care about you. I was like, let's not do it. So we made playlists instead when we did like cocktail hour playlist and all this, and it got to the dance playlist, right? And me and my wife were picking songs. And she picked like 3 or 4 songs. She's like, what do you want to hear? And I go, how about Thriller by Michael Jackson? And she says, no. I'm like, okay. How about Billie Jean by Michael Jackson? And she's like, no, Michael Jackson, we played at our wedding. And knowing what you know now, how would you possibly be comfortable playing Michael Jackson at our wedding? And I said, because I've always thought he was a pedophile. I never understood, like, he's like been canceled recently. Like, first of all, he's been dead for like 10 years. But that HBO doc came out and it was terrifying. But I'm like, dude, I was born in 1987. By the time I was old enough to know who Michael Jackson was, he was already a pedophile. As a matter of fact, the first time I ever heard the song Thriller, I was like, man, this pedophile is amazing. I was like, that guy fucks kids? Maybe we should just let him do it. I don't know. This is good. It's good stuff. I love my wife. We have a very strong relationship. The only disagreement we really ever have is just the TV shows we watch. And that's her fault because she loves terrible shit. she loves the Housewives and stuff. And yeah, I get it. It's escapism TV. You're just turning your brain off. But I can't quite get there with Housewives. Because 2 reasons. One, the balls these women have to call themselves housewives. I mean, half of them aren't married. And I've never seen any of them do chores. Like, you're not a housewife if you've never done the dishes. You know what I mean? It's like if you live alone and still have a maid, you're like, come on, clean up after yourself, do something. But you know what it really bothers me is because I'm a housewife. I am. I'm a stay-at-home dad. I cook, I clean. My wife's the breadwinner. She does really good. I do this, so I go, do okay. On days I get out of sweatpants, that's like an accomplishment. I've never had time in the middle of my day to go have a wine tasting with 7 of my frenemies. Where I'm hammered at 1 p.m. And I'm like, fuck you, Brenda. You've been engaged 19 times, you're a whore. It's an actual line from Housewives. To be fair, too, before I started dating my wife and before I started hate watching the Housewives with her, I used to think only dumb people watch those shows. I was like, that's just dumb. That's just TV for stupid people. But I know I'm wrong because I watched the shows with her, and all the commercials that air during the show are smart. And you can tell what type of person watches a show by the commercials that air during that show. Right? Because companies spend millions of dollars to target their specific audience. Here's an example. Have you ever stayed home from work and watched Maury Povich? You know exactly who watches that show by the commercials. Every commercial's the same. It's, hey, go back to school, you idiot. It's 2:15. University of Phoenix is better than what you're doing right now. You think you're too good for ITT Tech? You're not. But you watch the Housewives and all the commercials are about like probiotic yogurt. And about like balancing out the yeast in your digestive tract. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. And then I watch what I think is smart TV. I watch football. I'm like, finally something smart on TV. Watch a quarterback read a defense. I'm like, this is great. Then it cuts to a commercial and it's drink Coors Light or you're a pussy. And I'm like, oh, God damn it. I'm stupid. And I'm out of Coors Light. I learned a lot from my wife. I think that's great. I've learned more about women dating somebody and being married to somebody, and I love that. I love that. One of the things I learned was early on when we started dating, we were all hanging out, right? She was at a bar across town from me, and she was supposed to come meet me, but it was late, and she was having a hard time getting a cab. So I was like, why don't you just walk? And she's like, no, I can't walk. I'm like, why? She's like, because I'm afraid walking by myself through the city that a random man could just attack me. And I'm like, that's a good point. As a man, I've never had to worry about that, ever. I never walk around feared for my safety. So now when I walk around as a man by myself and I come across a woman, I try to like make it seem like I'm not gonna attack her. But I have no idea how to do that. I have no idea how to make it look like I'm not gonna attack somebody. The best thing I can do is make it look like I'm gonna attack somebody else. It's the only way I can make a real woman feel safe is to be like, get out of my way, lady, I'm gonna go home and beat my wife. So she's like, thank God it's not me this time. We have a dog. Yeah. Oh boy, that's right. We don't even have a dog. We have a French Bulldog. Yeah, they're cute, but they're not dogs. They're like pig hamsters. You know, it's like this weird. If you've never seen a French Bulldog, this is what they look like. They have these adorable, like pushed-in pig snouts, and then on the top of their head is just two giant bat ears. And then inexplicably, their upper body is just fucking ripped. It's just fucking jacked. And then behind this massive upper body is just two tiny little bitch legs in the back. Every French Bulldog looks like a tube of toothpaste that's almost done. They're really, really cute, but they're hard to take care of because they're not supposed to exist. This is a true story about how French Bulldogs came to be. In the late 1800s, British women wanted an adorable companion to sit on their laps from their trips to England to France. And apparently no dogs that existed at the time were good enough for them. So their husbands had to just start fucking different dogs together until French Bulldogs happened. So they just live here in mockery of God. They've never gone through natural selection. And Mother Nature is aware that they're not supposed to be here because they're prone to having every single illness you could possibly have. Like, my dog has sleep apnea. Clinically. My vet literally looked at my face and said, yeah, I think he has sleep apnea. And I'm like, what the fuck? What am I supposed to do? Do I have to buy him an adorable little CPAP machine to wear? Like, do they make those? They don't. You just have to listen to your dog almost die all night. It's very comforting. It's very comforting. I had to buy him shoes. Keyword in that sentence is had, because my vet told me that they're prone to spine issues. So if you take them on long walks, they need some support on their paws. So I had to buy them these little, like, they look like Jordans. They're really cute, but they're really hard to get on. I was putting one on the other day, and I noticed there's a tag inside one that said, "Made in China." And I was like, oh my God, how much of a bummer must it be to work at that sweatshop? Some poor Chinese kid, he's like, even their dogs have shoes? Fuck them, dude. My dad's a farmer, he doesn't even have shoes. We had to wait a year before we could get them fixed. A whole year. Because if you get them fixed too early, they gain weight and then they have back problems. So I just had this sexually frustrated monster living in my apartment for a year. And here's the thing, French Bulldogs, every single one of them is artificially inseminated. None of them can naturally breed because their back legs aren't big enough to mount another one. So literally, they have this vague idea in their DNA that they're supposed to have sex, but they don't know how. So my dog would just sit there on the couch and he's humping nothing. He's like, is this sex? Am I doing it? I have no idea. Please kill me. I do not belong here. This is sad. And his dick would come out and it's huge. And my wife would be like, he has a big dick. And I'd be like, stop talking about the dog's dick. You've never said a word about my dick. We live in Brooklyn. We live in this like obnoxious like NPR part where there's like professional parents who like name their kids Aster, and they're obnoxious with their kids, but they're even more obnoxious with their dogs because every dog has an origin story. When you walk your dog in Brooklyn, people just come up to you and start telling you about their dog. So we're walking through my neighborhood. I'm walking my dog, and this woman sees me, and she sees me and my dog, and her stupid eyes light up, and she can't wait to like talk to me about our dogs. So she comes up to me and she goes, "Oh, your dog's cute, but I'd like to introduce you to my dog. This is Vita. She's a rescue." Vita is Latin for life, which is very appropriate because not only did we save her life, but she completed ours. And I was like, cool. Well, this is Beavis. He jizzes on my couch. What am I supposed to say to these people? He's so not a dog. He's so weird. Like every other, clap it up if you have a dog. Couple people. When you walk your dog and it comes to like a hydrant or a tree and it smells the piss of another dog, what does it do? It pees on top of it, right? To be like, no, that's my shit. That's my tree, motherfucker. Not Beavis. Beavis just loves piss. It's his favorite thing. He comes up to a tree and he starts smelling it and he's like, he like turns into like a wine snob or something. He's like, oh, it's lovely. I get notes of labradoodle. Oh. 2014. And I'd be like, dude, can you just pee? And he's just like, you're just jealous because I have a bigger penis than you. I'm just kidding. That's not what Beavis sounds like. Dog owners know what I'm talking about. If you have a dog, you have a voice for your dog. Yeah, right? Beavis's voice is like, hey, what's up, guys? He's like Elmo if he dropped out of school and got really high. Like, no. So we have that little monster to take care of. Me and my wife, one thing that we do now that we're married is we share each other's locations on our phones. Does anybody else do that? Any couples do that in here? No. Just a couple? No. Yeah. That's my first instinct. When she first asked me, I was like, really? You think I'm going to cheat on you? That's upsetting. But then I quickly realized that it's not that at all. She's just always worried that I'm going to die. Which is insulting. To be like, yeah, no one's going to fuck you. It's not what I'm worried about. But you could fall in a sewer, and then I got to come get you. The other day I realized that the only time I've ever used that feature on my phone to see where she was is to see if I could eat one more time before she got home. So she's literally like, oh my God, is he still alive? He hasn't moved in 15 minutes, I don't know. And I'm like, you think I could finish this burrito before she gets here? And pretend like I haven't eaten yet? Because that's my biggest problem. My biggest problem is that I have too many meals in secrecy. That's not healthy. When you're eating, you should never be like, yeah, I'm never going to tell anybody about this shit. This goes to the grave. Only me and this linguine is going to know what happens. It's even more shameful when you go to throw it away and you like put something on top of it. You're like, yeah, only Sherlock Holmes will know that I ate that. I try to lose weight. I think about it all the time. It bothers my life sometimes. Like, I was babysitting my nephews, and we were watching The Avengers. My nephew looked up to me, and he was like, hey, Uncle Nick, if you could have any superpower, what would it be? And I was like, good metabolism. And I sincerely meant that. Like, I wasn't just trying to be funny. I was like, no, that's what I want. Why would I want to save someone's life when I could have pizza with no consequences? Like, that's superpower, man. Yeah, I think the hardest part about being fat is just the unsolicited diet advice you get from skinny people. Because skinny people treat fat people as if the reason why we're fat is because we're stupid. Skinny people look me in the eye and be like, hey, Nick, have you ever considered jogging? It's like, yeah, dude, I know that works. It's not like I'm fat and I can't figure it out. I'm not like, how does this keep happening to me? I don't understand. I'm fat because I like food more than I like being alive. Sorry. It's like, who wants to be 80? Yeah. Is that you? No. Her husband. Okay. Ooh. Doesn't have much time left, huh? She's laughing and shaking her head. Yeah, he's gonna die soon. Oh man, I do think as a society though, we're becoming more body positive, which I think is good. I think there's more like representation. There's like plus size models now, which I think is awesome. I see more and more plus size models now, and I think it's great, but I also can't help but feel really bad for regular models. Because they had to live for years just living up to this crazy, unrealistic expectations of what their body was supposed to look like. And now it just doesn't matter anymore. Like, wouldn't you be bitter if you were a model? Wouldn't it be like, oh, now you're body positive? That's so good. I'm so happy for you. That's awesome. I'm so glad your journey has brought you here. That's great. I haven't had a bagel since Bush was president, but yeah, I wish you were this open-minded 10 years ago, you asshole. I feel like that'd be like if you literally trained your entire life to be in the NBA, like from AAU to college, and you overcame all the odds, and you finally got into the league, and then they just lowered the rim by 2 feet. Now I'm in the league. And every time I dribble the ball, they look how brave he is. He's so brave playing out there. We are more body positive, but we're not quite there yet because there's still one group of people who you're just allowed to body shame. It doesn't matter at all if you're the most progressive person in the world. You've probably body shamed these people. And the people I'm talking about are Republicans. You can say whatever you want about a Republican's body. No one will say shit to you. Salon.com would never be like, hey, stop body shaming Chris Christie, okay? It's mean. No, he's like running for president. People are like, president? Yeah, maybe president of Taco Bell, but not this great country. When Trump was running for president back in 2015, somebody sculpted a statue of his naked body. Some of you might have saw it. It was put on literally on Wall Street, just his naked body, there's bitch tits, tiny little baby dick. And people would pose next to it and take pictures like, look at this ugly piece of shit, look at him. He's so fat and ugly, look at his dumb body. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's exactly what I look like naked. I also know that just losing weight's not gonna be the thing that like makes me happy all of a sudden, because every jacked person I know is pretty miserable. One of my best friends is like this CrossFit freak. He does all the things you could do. And I went over to his apartment the other day, and he was weighing broccoli on a food scale. No one hates themselves more than a guy who's like, only 33 grams of broccoli, you piece of shit! No, but I'm trying to get healthy because I just became a father. Thank you. Yeah, we have a beautiful baby girl. She's a quarantine baby because, you know, after you watch The Office and learn how to make sourdough bread, there was nothing else to do. I was like, why don't we just make a new person to hang out with? Like, just a new opinion in the room, you know? Yeah, it's crazy trying to have a kid on purpose. It's crazy. Because I trained my entire life not to get anybody pregnant. That was like #1 goal. I thought about it all the time, you know? Well, maybe not my entire life. It'd be weird if I was 9. I'm like, she's late, I don't know. Fuck. No, but when you're trying to, that's your biggest fear is knocking somebody up, and then you start having sex to procreate. It like unlocks this like reptile part of you where you're like, yeah, let's make people. Like, it's fucking crazy. It's just primitive sex. It's crazy. Like you would get aroused at the oddest times. Like me and my wife are watching a YouTube video of a baby who has a cooking show. Because it's just, there's not even a joke. It's just bananas that exists. The little baby makes risotto. It's fucking amazing. But every now and then, during the video, the dad would step in and like chop up a vegetable, right? And when I saw that moment happen, it was just like, oh, I can't wait to be a dad. This is great. And then the lizard brain kicked in, and it was like, yeah, you know what you got to do to be a dad, right? So I was like, yeah, that's right. So me and my wife went and had sex. But if you analyze what happened, is I watched a video of a baby got sexually aroused. And then had sex. Like, that's not illegal, but it's close. Like the first time in my life that I might have understood pedophilia. Hear me out. Hear me out. Not because I wanted to fuck the baby. I didn't want to fuck the baby. Let's be clear. I did not want to fuck the baby. But I could see how, like, they have one signal in their brain crossed. You know what I mean? Where you're like, oh, you're supposed to fuck to have the baby. All right. Sometimes you just gotta try it. No, we struggled getting pregnant, though. It took us like 7 months to get pregnant. And when you're struggling with fertility, you just keep getting advice from people. And so much of it's shit. Like, people were like making us feel bad. They're like, you need to get healthy, you need to diet, you need to exercise, you need to take these prenatal vitamins. There you go, then you'll get pregnant. And then I thought about it, I was like, I'm from the South. Literally, the unhealthiest people I know have the most kids. It's like, I have a cousin, he has 6 kids. I don't think he's had a glass of water in 20 years. Like, he eats every meal at 7-Eleven. So if you're ever struggling to get pregnant, someone's like, take this prenatal vitamin. Unless that prenatal vitamin is gas station meat, it's probably not gonna work. We can do this after the show, lady. Just try to start small talk. You're the best. Thank you so much. Takes balls to sit in the front. I love it. I love it. No, but we have a beautiful 5-month at home. She's the love of my life. I love her so much. She's great. Now, when she was a newborn, it was a lot harder because newborns, they don't have the ability to love you back. And I'm a needy comedian. I'm like, show me that I'm doing good. I need something. But they can't laugh, they can't smile, they can't do anything. All they can do is shit, sleep, and eat. That's all they can do. And the only time you remotely feel like a good dad is when they're sleeping. It literally takes them being unconscious in another womb to be like, yeah, I'm crushing this shit. It's great. It's tough, man. And you know, like, we have this thing, it's all parents have it. It's like in your biology to love your kid no matter what. And thank God we have that, because if we didn't, every baby would just get punted. Like, come back to me when you can smile, you sociopath. When they first learn to smile, it's really creepy. Because they're not smiling because they're happy. They're smiling because you're smiling, and they're trying to imitate human emotion back to you, like a serial killer. So they do this, like, smile where their mouth smiles, but none of their face... Like it's like Hannibal Lecter or something. Like, yeah. I love her. I'm just afraid. My biggest fear is that I'm gonna fuck her up somehow. It's my biggest fear, that I'm gonna turn her into a psychopath with some innocuous thing that I do. It used to be a Chris Rock joke, but now it's become like a hack dad joke, where they go, my number one responsibility as a father is to keep my daughter off the pole. And I'm like, the pole kind of pays well. I'm more trying to keep mine off the FBI's most wanted list. Because you don't know what you're doing as a parent half the time. It's hard. Like, we did this method to get her to sleep train. It's called the cry it out method. If you don't know what that is, this is what you do. You take your child, you put her in her crib, you shut her door, and then you just pretend like you don't have a kid anymore. And you just let her cry her ass off until she figures it out for herself. While you go do edibles with your wife in the other room. And the crazy thing is it works. They eventually become independent and they get themselves to sleep. They learn to soothe themselves. But it takes like 4 or 5 days, and those 4 or 5 days are really fucking hard because eventually you gotta go back and get them. And when you walk in the room, there's like this attitude in the air. It's like, well. Where have you been? Oh, getting high with mom, that's great. Could have used a diaper change, but no, it's fine. It's, yeah, you guys do you. Yeah, have fun. It's hard. Like, we debate like what we're gonna do as parents. Like, Santa Claus has become kind of an issue. It's like, what do we do about Santa Claus? Because we both want her to love Christmas like we love Christmas, but like, we think it's creepy the level at which we lie to our kids about Santa Claus. Like, I'm the person in the family that my brother calls. He has 5 kids. He calls me, and I pretend to be Santa on a phone. You say, oh, but it's more like my brother calls me. He's like, Nick, I need you right now, man. And then he yells, he's like, "Hey, Alex, guess who's on the phone? It's Santa Claus. He wants to talk to you about why you're being so bad." And then I have to discipline my nephew in character as Santa Claus. And I never know what to do or say. So I always get on the phone. He's like, "Santa?" And I'm like, "Yeah, Alex, that's me, Santa Claus. You better stop being naughty." I just make Santa sassy, southern, and possibly gay. So, like a character on RuPaul all of a sudden. That's Santa Claus. Yeah, it's weird. Like between that, me doing that, between my sister-in-law writes her kids letters from Santa to them, and like Elf on a Shelf. It's like, at what point are we just catfishing our children? You know what I mean? Like, what point are they going to be very disappointed by? Oh, he's not real? Who wrote all those letters, you fucking psycho? It's weird. It's tough. I did a lot of therapy before she came because I was trying to get ready for this mentally, right? And one of the things I realized, one session into therapy, is that I have some daddy issues. Yeah, it's because my dad was a good dad, but he was a weird dad. He's a conspiracy guy. He's one of those, and he was a QAnon. He was big into QAnon. You guys know QAnon? Yeah. He thinks like everybody who runs the country is a pedophile. Which is weird because he also thinks this is the best country in the world. Isn't that weird? To be like, "This is the best fucking country in the world. If you kneel for the anthem, you're a disrespectful piece of shit. How dare you disrespect our great country that's run entirely by pedophiles?" So I feel like if it's run by pedophiles, we're out of the running in best countries in the world. I don't know, that's where I sit with that. No, my dad, he was a doomsday prepper. We grew up on a mountain, and we lived in the D.C. area. He moved us to a mountain because he thought the world was going to end. And the event that happened in the world to convince him of this was Bill Clinton becoming president of the United States. Bill Clinton became president. My dad's like, "We're going to the mountains." And then he moved us to a mountain and then taught us how to defend the mountain against Bill Clinton. Who was never gonna come. The thing is about my dad, the people are like, why? Why would he do this? And this is what happened. My dad had kids really young, right? And he sacrificed a lot of his personal happiness to take care of his children. And then he was also at the same time lost in his life. He was very conservative and he was very religious. And all the conservative talk radio dudes were talking about how Bill Clinton's presidency is going to end the world. And then all the religious people were saying that the rapture is going to happen and that the Antichrist is already amongst us. And if you know anything about the Antichrist is a very charismatic person who everybody falls under the spell of them because they're just so likable. And then my dad saw Bill Clinton playing the saxophone. And he was like, "There it is, it's the Antichrist!" So he moved us to a mountain, but it wasn't just any mountain. He did research. He found a mountain that was just far enough outside of the Washington, D.C. area that if a nuclear bomb went off, we would be far enough away. And he also studied wind currents to make sure that if there was a nuclear bomb, the fallout wouldn't blow to our mountain. He figured all this shit out before the internet. Just in a library somewhere doing weird research. It's so weird. I remember us looking at houses when I was a kid, and my mom and dad would ask very different questions to the real estate agent. My mom would be like, "What's the square footage? How many bathrooms is it?" My dad would be like, "Is it outside the blast radius?" It was weird. So we found our Goldilocks mountain. It was just right. Like, just perfect spot for us to go. We moved to our mountain. And then when we get there, everybody else who lived on the mountain were also all doomsday preppers. And when they found out that we moved from Washington, D.C., they thought we were spies sent to watch them. So on this mountain full of freaks, we were the weird family that nobody liked. Like, "Don't talk to that kid, he's a narc." I'm like, "I'm 8. So we learned to live off the land. We shot and killed squirrels and ate them. We built machine gun nests in our yard. And we were preparing, but we didn't know exactly for what until the Y2K conspiracy started. And my dad was like, now it makes sense. Bill Clinton becomes president in 92. He gets 2 terms. That leads up to Y2K, to year 2000. All the lights are going to turn off, and we got to be ready. So as a family, on New Year's Eve 1999, we gathered in our living room to watch the ball drop, eating squirrel. It was a very festive party. It was just really fun. There were no New Year's Eve hats. It was guns and squirrels. That's pretty much what it was. We gathered in our living room, and the clock is getting close, and we're all kind of nervous. We're like, oh shit, get our guns ready. We have rice in our basement. This is good. It's like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're like, nothing happened. And my mom goes, yeah, I want a divorce. Because obviously. And here's the crazy thing. In the divorce, she got the house. She took his bunker. And then lived there for like 12 years. Like, that's a power move, man. No, I tell this story and people are like, oh my God, your dad's so fucked up and stuff. And he is to a degree, but he's still a good dad. And I think, like, one, he wasn't all wrong about everything. Sounds weird. He wasn't all wrong. Like, he was right not to trust Bill Clinton. Like, Bill Clinton might not be the Antichrist, but he is a sex criminal. Like, some people don't think so. They're like, not Bill. And I'm like, I love how, like, as liberals, we're like, believe all women except for those whores who accuse Bill Clinton. They're liars. And then the other thing he was right about is he was always talking about Big Brother, right? He was always talking about there are going to be devices in our homes that spy on us and listen to us and everything like that. And it's 100% true. That actually happened. But it's not so they can control us. It's just so they can sell us cat litter. Which I don't think the most, like, cynical person in the 90s would have predicted that. That, yes, they will spy on you, but it's not because they want to control you. They just want to sell you the right tampon brand. Like, you know, they want to listen to your phone calls so they know, what you like to eat. So weird. But also, now that I have a kid, it's like I kind of understand. Because we do irrational things to protect our kids all the time, right? And if you're a guy and you have 4 kids and you think the world is going to end and you don't move your family to a mountain, you're kind of a terrible father. You know what I mean? That's a pretty nice thing to do. And I get it, because I do irrational things to protect my daughter. I do all the time. I was setting up her baby monitor the other day, and it's like this new high-tech baby monitor that, like, connects to the fucking cloud and the internet and all these other things. And as I was setting it up, the baby monitor was like, hey, can we use your location? I was like, my baby's location? Yeah, nice try, Bill Clinton, not falling for that shit! You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you. Just want to shout out all the comedians you've seen: Brett Rabel, Christian Duran, Joe Alfano, and a special shout out to my wife, Sarah Ashley. She's the best. I love her so much. Thank you.